Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to be breaking down how Mauricio Ruffy dominated in his UFC debut. So let's get into it. Ruffy immediately opens up with some flash, dipping down almost to attempt like a sweep, but instead throwing a calf kick. I've seen Cody Garbrandt use this a few times, but usually you see this in Mortal Kombat games. Effective, and it's a good way to land the calf kick while going under punches, but just a lot of flash demonstrated. Very impressive right off the gate. Now, Malaki is a very boxing heavy fighter. He has a very long stance, so Huffy immediately started committing to the calf kick. And also here we have a few exchanges where Malaki would, throw his own leg kick or throw his own jabs, and Huffy will just ever so slightly move just slightly out of the way, just so he avoids the punch, but he's close enough to counter. Any good counter puncher is excellent in this, just evading slightly and being able to time a counter. Here, Huffy is actually able to land his own jab really nicely because one, it comes from the hip, comes from a different angle, and makes it, harder to see when it's coming, and makes the timing a little bit different. But also, Huffy's shoulders are extremely loose. You see this a lot in, pre-Alvarez Conor McGregor. You'll see his shoulders are very loose and allows it for him to land very, very long punches and very fluid punches. So we see him land a good jab here, and then following that, again, he times when Malaki almost steps in and he lands a nice leg kick as well. Malaki has a habit of dipping very low when he's going into exchanges, even when he's throwing punches to the head. So Huffy just times a stiff, solid jab as he's moving to his own left and catches Malaki clean. And again, Huffy lands a solid jab right as Malaki is about to throw his right hand. It's the best time to land a jab, it's the best way to just interrupt attacks, do the most damage. Again, timing with jabs is kind of how you do some serious damage. If anyone remembers when Brandon Moreno dropped Everson Figueiredo with a jab in their fight, it was all about timing. Figueiredo was going for a big left hook, Moreno just popped him with the jab, swang over clean. This is similar to what happened here. Here, Ruffy starts to stutter step to create an angle. He steps off to his right, lands a nice jab, and then as Malaki's trying to just readjust and understand where Ruffy is, Ruffy lands a nice 1-2 down the side. Lands clean, sits Malaki in his chair a little bit. Malaki goes for a jab to the body and a right overhand. Now, Huffy doesn't actually move far enough away from this overhand and actually does just skim him. But as he's backing out, he realizes he can't back out enough, and he actually completely turns his head with the punch. So while it does look like it lands decently clean, most of the impact is just gone. And then he goes right back on the pressure. Again, very impressive stuff from, a forward perspective, and then evasiveness. Very good defensive skills by Mauricio Ruffy. Because of Huffy's biomechanics, again, similar loose shoulders, able to cover a lot of distance, he's able to land his own right hands even from a distance, little setup just because of how good his timing and his just punching mechanics are. And here we see him land a nice right hand on Malaki, pretty flush. Huffy is beginning to time his counters. Malaki again dips into range and gets quite close. Huffy backsteps, and this time he actually misses the right hand as he doesn't expect Huffy to go as low, but again, just trying to find an opening for that right hook counter. He tries something very similar here where Malaki lunges into range, and he gets the perfect lineup for a shot. Really, really good. He's got a profile view of Malaki. You can see he just charges up a massive right hand. Except he actually waited too long. Malaki was able to again spring back up and just so narrowly avoid the punch. But again, reads that Huffy is making. Huffy demonstrates some of his flashiness again, and in just 3 frames, he lands one of the quickest spinning wheel kicks I've ever seen. It's less of a wheel kick, it's more of a back kick. It's very streamlined, it's very point A to point B, and he does this super, super quickly, and that's because of how he throws the kick. Again, just a little step, turning his left foot in, not covering more distance than he needs to, and it lands. Malaki does get his hand up to block it, but Huffy's heel just clips the end of the jaw. Extremely, good technique from Ruffy. Huffy again tries to time the right hook counter as Malaki's coming in, but Malaki actually ducks, extremely low on this one, so he goes under the punch. Now, Malaki actually does get Huffy against the fence, but as soon as this happens, Huffy immediately starts to like shoulder roll and turn his body sideways and put up his shoulder and put up his elbows. And Malaki throws about 10 strikes in 2 different exchanges, and only I think 1 jab lands in that whole time. So, again, incredibly impressive defensive work as well from Ruffy. Huffy is again able to land the right hand from range, extending his body out and almost throwing his right hand like a pitcher throws a baseball. He then takes a back step and switches to southpaw. He takes a very far step back. He then covers distance, uses his right leg to step over Malaki's stance, and land a scissor sweep. Insanely impressive to pull off in the training room, let alone a live fight. Extremely impressive work, and the crowd loved this. Now, finally, Huffy is able to find the right hook counter. It just skims the top of Malaki's temple. It doesn't even land particularly flush. But again, those top of the temple shots, it'll throw off your balance completely. And we see that Malaki just doesn't know where he is. Huffy again times a, profile view right hand that again rocks Malaki. Huffy understands the Malaki dips very low, even when he's not hurt. So he charges up a flying knee, which does temporarily floor Malaki. Malaki gets up, but the fight is over. Huffy lands a few more shots, and the ref mercifully steps in. Insane performance by Ruffy. You could not ask for a better debut against, a pretty solid opponent. Outside the rankings, Malaki's, fairly decent. I know he's on a bit of a skid now, but he's, no walk in the park. And they actually did try to get Huffy a fight on this weekend's card, but they couldn't find him an opponent, which is really disappointing. I can't blame them. I wouldn't want to fight this guy either. But I really look forward to whatever they do find for Mauricio Ruffy, and I'm really excited for his future in the UFC. Anyway, guys, that was the breakdown. Hope you all enjoyed and enjoy the rest of your day.